Today we're rating custom Magic the Gathering cards on Reddit, on the most prestigious of all custom card Reddits, Custom Magic. All right, we're going to start off with Unstable Alteration for a single blue. It's an instant. Counter target spell if the amount of mana spent to cast it isn't equal to its mana value. So it's like actually a slightly improved Nyx, which technically doesn't see any play, but it can also hit stuff that, you know, you get to play it for cheap or slightly free. You know, Chord of Calling, you gotta usually pay a little bit of mana in addition to tapping a bunch of creatures. So I don't think this is broken at all or anything like that. I think this can be a pass. I think we can. Why would you kick a spell book? Exactly, why would we kick a spell book? Nahiri's World Right. White, and a red. Enchantment. Creatures you control get +1/+1. But at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 0/0 red mountain elemental land creature token. It gains haste until end of turn. You get a land every turn? It's a 0/0, but it lives because creatures we control get +1/+1. So we're getting a 1/1 mountain. It's like, this is almost like ramp. It's like ramp every single turn, and this can like escalate if we have multiples of these things out. I don't know how to evaluate this card. It's a bit of a weird one for me. We get a red element mountain. We get a mountain, essentially. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this thing broken or not? It's not. I mean, it doesn't do anything terrible immediately. I mean, we're basically spending 3 mana on a 1/1. But then next turn, we also get another 1/1 and another 1/1. And we can tap all these things for mana, but they also can die at the same time. I guess it's okay. I guess it's fine. Okay, we got Valerio, Sana, here with the Dipper and Mabel, the Mystery Twins. Remember, you can super chat. We'll just say you can super chat for basically anything. And I will look up, I can look up your card on Custom Magic. And you get to be part of the show. And I get extra money. So it works out both ways. I just need the exact name of your card, not the card, sorry, the title of your post. Dipper and Mabel, the Mystery Twins. Thank you so much, Santa. All right, we got our Dipper and we've got our Mabel, the Mystery Twins. How do we see the whole thing? Dipper and Mabel, the Mystery Twins. Black, green, white. We got, it's a legendary planeswalker, human investigator. Dipper and Mabel, the Mystery Twins, can be your commander. +1, investigate. Then each player mills 1 card. 0, put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. And also -4, put target card from any player's graveyard into your hand. Ooh! Ooh! Wizards don't like that. Wizards doesn't like that unless it's digital. Wizards does. There is no card in Magic the Gathering that lets you put someone else's cards in your hand or in your library. It doesn't happen. You show me a card that lets you do that. It doesn't exist. They always have it like in exile or something. And then like you can cast cards from exile. It's like it's a non-hidden zone. Put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Wizards would not print that ability. Putting cards from other people's graveyards into your hand. So you'd have to word it. Exile target card from any player's graveyard. You may play that card whenever you want. There's one card called the A-Hole's Wish. It must be an unglued card though. We can invent it! No, they don't invent it because they don't want you like basically accidentally stealing someone else's cards. More or less. I had to stop reliving my childhood and pause Power Rangers because you've gone live. Oh, you were watching the Power Rangers. Did you get to the point where the Green Ranger came about? Anyway, thank you very much for the card. Outside of that, the card is fine. I think the card is fine. You just gotta reword that last one. Oh, we got a new super chat. We got the Cyclops Dragon. I posted a card called Devourer. Ecor, Devour. I was suggested on the post to add Death Touch baseline as well. Let's see if we need some Death Touch. It's got Lifelink. So black, green, 2 generic for a 1/2 vampire with Lifelink. Ecor Devourer deals doubled combat damage. Can we zoom in here? Doubled combat damage to players and planeswalkers. When Ecor Devourer deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, put a +1/+1 counter on Ecor Devourer. Then put your choice between a trample counter, a flying counter, or a +1/+1 counter on Ecor Devourer. I think it's got a lot of text on it as it is, but it's totally fair. Yeah, sure, you can put Death Touch on it. I think that's fine. It's not going to break the world or anything. R.I.P. Tommy. Is he dead? Did Tommy die? I wouldn't know. I have not been keeping track of the Power Ranger celebrities. Not for many a year. No, you're a few episodes away from that. Oh, you have a long legacy to go through. I watched one of those movies too. We should be relatable to the Power Rangers. They've got black, red, blue, pink. What would be pink? They got black. I guess pink would be. No, they got a yellow ranger. How many rangers? I think there's 5 rangers, and I think they're closely related to the colors of Magic the Gathering. Although I don't know if the flavor is the same. All right, back to the main board. We got the magnetic mirror. For you mirror fans out there, I know you exist. We need to go back to Mirrodin and make better mirrors. They all suck. They're all bad. People are like big into like making mirror tribal, and there's nothing. There's like 1 mirror battle sphere, and that's it. So for a blue 2 generic, maybe we can get a better... For adding a color to the mirrors, maybe we can get a better mirror. We have a 2/2 mirror, and when it enters the battlefield, gain control of each artifact with mana value 1 or less for as long as you control magnetic mirror. Using that little bit of a magnet, grab your soul ring, your mana crypt, your mana vault. You don't want those tap mana vaults though. Those tap mana vaults will deal damage to you. It's actually possible that if you take everybody's, like, I don't know, mana crypt, you're gonna deal like 12 damage to yourself a turn. It's unlikely. Or I guess 6 damage if you have one already. But my mirror, but my mana mirrors. Oh, sorry to hear about Tommy in the comment section. I love the dogs for what it's worth, Tommy. We've turned into a Power Ranger chat. Aragon is the ranger of choice. I just like the mystique of the Green Ranger. You know, he was the rogue ranger of all of them. He was a bad guy that turned good. I don't know. Sometimes maybe he turned back to bad. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. Anyway, magnetic mirror. This thing is sweet. I love the idea of stealing everyone's mana rocks because they're so damn greedy. Yeah, and then now you have all the mana to cast your mirror battle sphere. This is great. It's just beautiful. Okay, Herald of the Meek. A 1 white for a 2/1 human soldier with a kicker of white and 2 generic. Someone's making fair magic cards out here. When Herald of the Meek enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target creature card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. This card's sick! I love it. I mean, it's a 2/1 very early on in the game, which honestly isn't broken, but later on in the game, I like cards like this. Has utility early on, gives you big utility later on in the game. So you have a bunch of mana, nothing to do with it. So it's good on turn 1, it's good on turn 4. Very fair. Very, very fair. Vintage MTG. Oh yeah, do you know what? This card would be great. Maybe good in Vintage. Maybe that would work in Vintage. If you live to see turn 2. You may not always live to see turn 2. Sometimes you'll just die on turn 1. Rudderless Rowing. A green and blue enchantment. At the beginning of each end step, untap target island you control. Beautiful picture. A+ there. At the beginning of each end step, so it's a commander card. Oh, you got an end step, you've got an end step, you got an end step, I got an end step. So you get a little bit more, you get a few more mana spells. You get a little bit more mana. It's neat, but like, it's like a a watered down wilderness reclamation, right? Like, it's a little watered down. You could untap one island, or you could untap all the islands. The dude on your left will hate this. I think the dude on the right will hate it more, because you'll maximize your mana by their turn. The dude on the left is only going to have to deal with one of your islands. The dude on your right has to deal with 3 of the islands. Oprah, you get all the end steps. We got end steps for everyone. Look underneath your seat. It's end steps. Or, I don't know, look underneath your seats. It's extra islands. Yeah, Blue be like, yeah, I think it actually seems fair. It's a neat card, but I don't think it's broken. I don't think it's Wilderness Reclamation broken. We got cards out there that untap all your islands every single end step. Disgusting. Or no, hold on, was it, no, maybe it was just at the end of your end step. Just want to quickly look. Wilderness Reclamation. There are broken cards out there. At the beginning of your, oh, it's only your end step, okay. Only your end step. Whatever, rudderless rowing. It's got my seal of approval. I wonder if you could repeat other steps beside combat. Repeat? Yeah, can I repeat the end step? I use one of those blue cards that lets you replace words with other words. The Mercy of God. A white enchantment. Oh, enchantment for 1 white. Creatures you control can't be destroyed by spells you control. Oh, that is very interesting. Creatures you control can't be destroyed by spells you control. You have protection from my wrath of God, essentially. Why does my video keep auto-switching to 1440p? Because your internet sucks. That's why. YouTube is telling you something. Yeah, friendly fire turned off. No, turned on, right? No, friendly fire. Okay, hold on. It's been a long time since I played any first-person shooters. Friendly fire means you can hurt people. So when you turn it off, it means you can't hurt people. You sissies. I think it wants to say can't be put into your graveyard instead of be destroyed. No, I think they want to... I think the person wants to play things like Wrath of God and Damnation and Supreme Verdict. Blow it all up, but your stuff remains. No one else's stuff remains. It all goes to the garbage. Tommy's like, this would piss me off so much in EDH. Someone would make board wipe tribal. They would. They absolutely would. That's the whole point. And they get to keep their creatures. Sphinx of the Second Sun gives you a second beginning step at your end step. There you go. For anyone trying to make extra end steps with the other card. Flavor is great. The righteous need not fear what is to come. Glory to Sarah, death to the unbelievers. I think this is a cool card. I think it's very original. And I can't see how it's immediately broken. I mean, if you're going to build your deck around these enchantments and board wipes. Because if you don't have this card and you have all these board wipes, your deck is probably really unstable and it probably sucks. Alright, Improvisional Alchemist. We got the blue hybrid. Is it for a 2/2 human wizard. Legendary cards in your hand have cycling. Okay. You want to cycle your legendary cards? That sounds boring. So I said to the Count, I said to him, Your Excellency, I never have the same idea twice. To the Count. You want to cycle the legend? I don't know, is that a good thing? Why would anyone want to do that? That shouldn't be a rare. What, it should be mythic? Best mechanic ever? You let me know what we should do about this I mean, it's not broken. At least not in my opinion. Let me know what we're going to do with this, because in the meantime, we got to thank our sponsors, FusionGamingOnline.com. My favorite place to go buy all my paper Magic cards, my sleeves, my deck boxes. Again, from FusionGamingOnline.com. Deal of the week, save 15% off Tempest Block singles. Some massive singles in there. Turn your opponent's creatures and yours into 1/1s with humility. Ramp out faster than everyone else with Mox Diamond. Complain about fast mana with, wait a minute, isn't this Volrath Stronghold? Okay, that's not fast mana. But you know what's fast? How quickly you can save money with the 15% off deal this week, but also coupon code Nikachu for an additional 5% off all your purchases at checkout. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. Your ability to get that competitive edge. You know what that means, that competitive edge? It means if there's a new deck that you spent a bunch of money, don't you hate it when you spend like $1,000 on a deck, and then there's just a new deck that's destroying everyone that just came out of nowhere, and now you're like, I wish I had that deck. Well, if you don't buy into your decks and you just rent them, you can play anything at any time. Basically get the cutting edge of tech at your fingertips. With Mana Traders, you can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_P9S. You heard that correctly, folks. P9S. Most popular coupon code I've ever had in my life. And now back to the back to wacky Reddit stuff. Okay, what are we doing? What are we doing about this card? Because Storm wasn't strong enough. With this beats, is this a Storm card? Legendary cards in your hand have cycling. Are there any legendary Storm cards? You just spoke too fast. With the coupon code. The Power 9S! You know it's funny if you laugh before you even know if they changed the code. Yeah, I know. Legendary lands plus life from the loam. Oh! Is Life from the Loam... That's legendary? Oh, you mean Life from the Loam, the legendary lands. Got it. Well, anyway, I don't think this is broken. I don't think it's broken. I think it's fair. The hell with everybody. You guys don't think it's fair? Well, bite me. Alright, what do we got? We got more super chats. That's what I like to see. I like to see the super chats. Last today, Terry, accountant of the great before. Terry, the accountant of the great before. Alright, Terry. You can do my taxes. Oops. Let's go back. Terry, accountant of the great before, costs 6 mana. It's a 0/7 god, the god of walls. As long as your devotion to each color is less than 1, Terry isn't a creature and has indestructible. At the beginning of each end step, scry X, where X is the number of creatures that died this turn. Oh god. Creatures gain cumulative upkeep 1. Everybody? What, all creatures? For Wooburg? What the hell? So long as your devotion to each color is less than 1. So basically, if you have nothing on the battlefield, this isn't a creature and has indestructible. What is even the point of that? Because you're never going to put anything in play, right? You're just probably going to be a colorless deck for the most part. And you're probably using this ability so that you have Wooburg. You can play Wooburg in your deck. So you're like a colorless Wooburg deck. 151,000 souls going to the great beyond every day. That's 105.2 souls per minute. Jerry, 1.75 souls per second, and I count every single one of them. Flavor text, I think, is more exciting. So it's not. Oh, it's not one-sided. There's a second side to this. Oh, sorry, it's not one. Oh, you're talking about creatures gain, so it's not one-sided. Morning, Bob. It's a god of entropy. I don't understand this card. Why does everyone want to have their cards have their creatures? Like, basically what you're doing is giving everybody, like, some sort of tabernacle tax, except it accumulates. This seems so unfun to play against. This feels like an AI generated rather than a custom Magic the Gathering card. A human designed this? Yeah, basically it makes everything die and you scry equal to the dead creatures. So you're constantly letting everything die. It's like a constant board wipe. Okay, I mean, maybe it's not broken because if you have one creature out, I mean, you just pay the one. You just pay the... and it's like not terrible. It just reduces the game down to like one creature, that's it. You better have one creature. So I must have a permanent of each color to for it to be a creature. As long as your devotion to each color is less than... Oh, you need to have all of them to become... Like, why would you even want it to be a creature? Isn't a creature... No, hold on. As long as your devotion to each color is less than 1. So you technically want nothing in play. It isn't a creature and has indestructible. Oh, I see. So you can't block. It is... So it's an indestructible nothing. It goes from indestructible enchantment to a creature. Whatever. I guess we can let it slide. We're going to let it slide. I have crunched the numbers, and I have decided that, you know what? One big creature could probably dominate you. Okay. Tile post. Thank you so much, bro, man. Goblin with a huge bomb. Love the idea of it. Goblin with a huge bomb. Reminds me of the movie Hobo with a Shotgun. If anyone saw that movie. Gruesome stuff. Canadian classic. Goblin with a huge bomb and a gun! And it looks like Yoda. Okay, so for a red, we have a 1/1 goblin. When goblin with a huge bomb enters the battlefield, flip a coin. If you win, destroy target land. If you lose, sacrifice a land. Oh my god! Oh, I love it! I'm just saying he's stupid. You know, they could print something like this. They really could print something like this. Hobo with a Shotgun was great. For people that know, they know. Fair warning, that's a very gruesome movie. I also like this. This is an absolutely hilarious card. I think they could print this. I mean, there is massive there's like massive downside if you lose the flip, then you lose the land. And like, what else is in your deck anyway? Like tons of these like flipping coin RNG cards. It's not like you can like deterministically destroy your opponent's land. So I think this is a great card. This is gonna be a pass. Stone Rain, but better. Well, define better. If there's some way you can loop this card from your graveyard without using, because it's interesting. You have to sack a land, not sack a permanent. So I mean, if you're like a landless deck, you could loop this thing back and forth. Maybe there's a little something there. All right, we got Alex. Thanks so much, Alex. I made an angel for each color. Here's one, the Brimstone Angel. The Brimstone Angel. Couldn't find... Oh, I looked up Brime. I want the Brimstone. Alright, Brimstone Angel. We got red, 2 generic for a 4/4 angel. Flying haste. Red, 2 generic. Tap. Destroy target non-basic land. Its controller loses 3 life. Holy smokes! My initial thoughts is like, that's broken. That's so broken. Oh my god. But at the same time, it's like 4 mana. You probably you're almost always giving your opponent like a turn to deal with it. So maybe it's not that bad. Like, it's not immediate. But you do get to smack your opponent for 4 damage immediately. Should have been damage, not lost life. Yeah, that'd be more flavorful. Get that little shrapnel blast of your land getting blown up. Yeah, it danger. I don't know. It may be a danger. I would have to play against it. Truth be told, I mean, they spend 4 mana. They smack you for 4 damage. And you have a whole turn probably to... Yeah, I mean, you know what's coming. And I'm thinking of this in one-on-one. In Commander, maybe it's not so bad. There's like 3 people. And you're just going to peeve off the one person. You blow up their land and you become a target of that person. What do you guys think? Maybe 4 cost ability? I think just... having like a Stone Rain on this creature at instant speed is pretty dangerous. Finally, a better Sarah Angel. We've done it. No vigilance, though. Imagine this had vigilance as well. Just tack on, like, make it red, white. So you have a vigilance, hasting, flying, hitting, plus that, like, and then you don't tap to attack, then you get to tap and blow up lands after that. Should be boltable. You want it to be boltable. Not vulnerable enough. Sounds fun. It needs vigilance. No, it does not need vigilance. I mean, I can imagine it. It sounds very danger. I don't know. Maybe if it turned the land into a Brimstone land that only adds colorless and deals 3 damage. I think that would take a lot of the flavor out of this thing. It needs less danger. I'm going to very hesitantly give this a pass. It's still a creature. It still dies to removal. And, like, you know, at the point that they have 4 mana, you probably also have 4 mana. So, like, blowing up a land is probably not that big of a deal. Maybe the activation cost needs to be more. Destroying a land is very strongly limited to sorcery speed. Yeah, it is. It is, isn't it? Except today, we blow up the lands at instant speed. Alright, cool. We have another super chat. We got the Cyclops Dragon. One more from me. The Undead Infiltration. You can do this all day. I don't care. The Undead Infiltration. The Undead Infiltration. For a black 1 generic, we've got an instant. Cast the spell only during combat on your turn after blockers are declared. One of those very situational cards. Okay, put target creature from defending player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, tapped and attacking that player. Exile at the end of combat. Oh, okay, so you attack someone, and you want to attack them with their own creature. So after blocks, you get like another attacker. See, and then they have to exile it. This is interesting. I guess this is fine. It's like, even the dead can't be trusted. You guys really think it danger? You know what's important? Don't leave any big stupid creatures in your graveyard, because I'm gonna infiltrate you with your undead. That's just what it's all about. I think it's fair. This is like one of those card stealing cards. What's it called? I can't remember the mechanic. You just steal one of your opponent's blockers, they untap, you attack with it. Very similar, in my opinion. King Ginger says, this would be a better name if it allowed zombies to attack from the graveyard with the cost of being exiled from the graveyard after it attacks. That's like a little much for me. Oh, you guys love this one. Print it. Fun graveyard card. We're going to print it. It's a good one. Not even losing life. No, not like Reanimate. Well, hey, Reanimate, you get to keep it for forever. We're just keeping it until end of combat. Until end of combat. And then it's gone. Danger because of the first sentence. Cast spell only during combat on your turn after blockers are declared. That sounds like something straight out of 1994, if you ask me. Straight out of 1994. Alright, what did we say about this card? Whatever. It's a good one. Okay, Spirit's Visit. Yes, please. White, instant. You can't spend mana to cast this spell. Oh! One of those Hogak things. Convoke. It has Convoke, so we can tap our cards. Counter target spell! That is very interesting. So, basically, we can just put out a bunch of, like, white little dorks. Or even spirits. How you like that one, Spirit Squad? You like that one? Do we like the idea of playing some spirits and then like, this would be great. Instead of holding up mana for counters, we just cast creatures and then counter whatever the hell is played. Tap our Selfless Spirit and a Spell Queller, and boom! Although, if we don't have any creatures in play, this card sucks. Okay. You know what? I take it back. This could be awkward as well. Never danger. It depends on the matchup. If it's a lot of removal, this card is beyond terrible. If it's not a lot of removal, this card danger. Never danger. Nasty. Love it. Alright, we love this card. Very unique design. We need more cards. You can't spend mana to cast this spell. This is cute. I'd run like 3 of this in my board with Moorland Haunt versus combo decks. Hammer Time, don't need this. Oh, they have, you know what? I don't know if they have enough white creatures to make use of this. Because you can't use Ornithopter or Inkmoth Nexus or like Memnite to tap this. Can you tap a creature that doesn't have haste? Yep. Exactly. Yeah, the thing can have Summoning Sickness, and you'll definitely get it. This is horrifying in Death and Taxes. Yeah, Death and counter now. Okay, the Colossus Helm. For 1 generic, we have got an artifact. The Fortification! Fortified land has, as long as this land is a creature, it has +10/+10 and loses flying. Oh, this is like a colossal hammer type of card. So now this is the Colossus Helm. I don't understand this card. Fortify 4. Attach to target land you control. Fortify only as a sorcery. Fortified land has, as long as this land is a creature. So basically, you put this on Ink Moth, I guess. Speaking of hammer time, so you like fortify this on an Ink Moth, and then you turn it into a creature, and it has +10/+10 and loses flying. Yeah, our creature land hammer. Whatever. I guess it's fine. It's not even equipment, so it's not even gonna like. It doesn't even have synergy with what's it called, Pure Steel Paladin. And you can't and you can't even find it with Stoneforge Mystic. Fortify Arbor. Big beat stick, but very situational. Ooh. Oh, I like that avatar. It's very cute and funny. This with Nissa, who shakes the world, screams danger. Does it? I don't know what the Nissa shakes the world does in this situation. First off, it says we got a little opinion here from Vitron Espada. First off, I like Fortify, so please, Wizards, make it a real mechanic. LOL. Also, the art is fantastic, and I just like the utility for a land creature decks. So people like to do stuff with their creatures. All right, I'm gonna give it a pass. Treetop Village is good with this helm. Yep, I guess so. Get that trample on. No way. What? Is it like is this misspelled? I think it's supposed to be N-O. Okay, whatever. Maybe it is no way. No way. Blue, 3 generic instant. Counter target spell. Oh, creatures you control can't be blocked this turn. All right, it could be taken both ways. No way! Or, no way. Do you know the way? Come with me. I know the way. Print it. It's both. It's a pun. It's super punny. Obstruction, deception. No. Know what you're talking about. Oh, I love it. Let's print it. I would never play this card. This sounds terrible. 4 mana for a joke? It's basically, that's what it is. 4 mana for a joke, but whatever, it's fair. Definitely could be printed. Also, this is definitely something Wizards could print. Exactly with this name in an actual set. Sure, it's bad, but for the flavor, it's a great bad card. And you never know when your creatures you control can't be blocked. You know what? I mean, all creatures is not bad. There's definitely... I mean, I could, in theory, put that in a Pioneer deck. I do not think that is so bad to put in Pioneer. And definitely in Standard, this could see play. Alright. The Touch of Rot. For a black sorcery, put a Decayed counter on target creature. It can't block when it attacks, sacrifice it at end of combat. That is a funny mechanic. That is very interesting. So it's not direct removal, but it's sort of pseudo removal. And the creature can't block anymore. I think this is really unique. I think I'd like to see this card exist. It's definitely not broken. Sometimes you don't need someone dead. You just don't want them getting in the way. A great flavor text. We gotta give them. That deserves a sound effect just for that flavor text. Get out of my way. They can still sack it though. Well, who cares? Let them sack it. If they want to sack it, they can sack it. Make it an instant and it's fine? Well, you think this... you think it's still fine even as an instant. Wow, some of you people think this is busted. You're just putting it... You still get to attack with your creature. What's the big deal? They could have blown the whole creature up. For 1 extra mana, you have Doomblade. Kill any non-black creature. Make it instant. I don't know, you guys really think this thing's broken? It stops creatures with decay, right? No, it gives decay. It just gives them decay. I don't even think that... Oh, as an instant, it would be broken because you could use... Yeah, that's right. That would be a little awkward too. Well, I still don't think it would be that broken because you're still getting smacked by the creature, but it probably might be a little too much. Yeah, you'd like, okay, you attack, block, okay, Touch of Rot. Just touch you and you're gonna rot away. Little touch of rot. Is this a zombie? For someone turning slowly into a zombie? Anyway, I think it's super fair. Love it. Dimir Shades, black blue for a 1/1 shade. With Skulk, creature can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. Whenever Dimir Shades deals combat damage to a player, look at the top card of that player's library, then surveil one. Look at the top card of your library. You may put that card in your graveyard. Deals combat damage to a player, look at the top card of that player's library, then surveil one. This seems very underwhelming. This seems very I don't understand what's broken about this. I mean, yeah. It's a little too fair. A little too fair for me, damn. I think it's common, though. Look. It doesn't even have the silver. Super fair. Alright, moving on. Fair and boring. Gonna give you that just for being so boring. Too boring. Unfavorable plateau. We got a Mountain Blades with Gambit 2. Oh god, what are we gambling when this comes into the battlefield? This card enters the battlefield with 2 Gambit counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove a Gambit counter. Creatures you control can't block while you control a permanent with a Gambit counter. Oh! Oh! Certain decks are not going to care about this, because if you don't have creatures, you don't care about this downside. It's interesting. Maybe an aggro? No, you want this in combo or control, because it doesn't change anything. Creatures you control. Like, you do not want this in the deck that has the creatures in it. I mean, hey, if you want, like... If you want like, any sort of land that helps you. Doesn't produce mana, though? Oh, hold on. This card enters the battlefield with 2 Gambit counters on it. What the hell? Yeah, they forgot to add the ability. That's hilarious. We just assume it's going to add mana. It literally doesn't add mana. Or is that the point? I have a feeling the point is it's supposed to add mana, and this is the downside. It is not good enough that it says Mountain Plains. It can be an island that doesn't add mana. I think it might be in the rules that says that if it says mountain or plains in the card type that it has to add for mana, but I'm not 100% sure. It's a mountain plane, so it adds the mana even if it doesn't specifically say. I think there is something in the rules that if you like turn something into an island that it has to be able to tap for like blue mana. Mountain need no need description. Well, by today's standards, it does. It's a mountain plane. It will produce of the mana from either. By default, mountain will give red and the plane will give white. All right, so we don't need it for it to say that. Shocklands are the same rules. A shockland say that you tap for mana. Does it say? Let's look at Sacred Foundry. Let's look at a modern day Sacred Foundry here. Look. At tap. Add red. Add white. Oops. I don't know how to interpret this. All right, so whatever. I think it's fair. I think there's a lot of room to reprint dual lands with some sort of downside, and this is a very reasonable downside. Blood Moon turns lands into mountains. It doesn't add the add to tap, or does it? Let's look at a modern Blood Moon. All non-basic lands are mountains. I guess so. I guess so. Oops, where am I? All right, well, okay, so we're gonna give this a pass. And we're gonna move on. Okay, we back again. Some sort of Reanimator spell. Black Sorcery. Return target creature card with total power and toughness 4 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It sounds like somebody trying to cheat like a 10 mana card that just happens to have low power and toughness into play. You're supposed to be the professional here, grinds teeth in outrage. Well, hey, we even when you're like, even if you've been a pro, it doesn't matter how good you are, you still don't know all the rules. There's just so many rules, you don't care. You know, if you want to know about the rules, you go become a judge. You want to play and win the game? You play and win the game. Not saying that judges can't win games. Just saying that if you want to know the rules super deep, you go become a judge. Okay, so anyway, I guess this is fair. Let this slide. It looks good. Hive mind, you want everyone to have this? Okay, everyone gonna bring something back again. We got Alex Denton. I already know you won't print this one. The Thwarting Angel. Oh, this is part of the Angel series, huh? Wow, this is the same picture. We're very similar. Oh, okay, no, it's not the same picture. The Thwarting Angel. So something with countering? Something, please be a counter spell and an angel. Maybe I will print it. Okay, the Thwarting Angel. We've got blue, 1 generic for a 3/2 angel. That's blue. Feels very unusual. What the hell is this? Cheaters never win, but winners always cheat. Is that a real quote? I'm gonna let that simmer in my mind later. Flash flying for the Thwarting Angel. When it enters the battlefield, counter target activated or triggered ability. If a permanent's ability was countered this way, put that permanent on the bottom of its owner's library. That's bizarre. If a permanent's ability was countered this way, put that permanent. That sounds a bit strong. I really would like. I think this would be totally fine if it was just enters the battlefield, counter target activated or triggered ability. You have a 3/2 flash flyer. The last one is very dangerous. So basically, it's like a counter spell. It turns into a hard counter for any creature that ETBs on anything. This is a really powerful 3/2 flying creature. The question is, do you want to give this to the control decks? You gave it to the angels. In fact, you can Thwarting Angel a Thwarting Angel here. It danger. The last part is too strong. The counter ability was fine already. I agree. I like the card though, so please fix it without this damn thing, and it would be totally fine. To be honest, I'd be all in for Wizards printing this card. I'd be all over it. It's a Frilled Mystic with flying. Well, it's not exactly like a Frilled Mystic. Like you can't counter a Lord of Atlantis, for example. Or you can counter my Silvergill Adept. Okay, Punish by Flame. Red, 3 generic sorcery. Punish by Flame. Deals 6 damage to target creature or player. Its controller may have excess damage dealt this way to be dealt to them. If they don't, draw a card. Oh, so we have the choice. Deals 6 damage to target creature or planeswalker. This is 4 mana. Sorcery speed. I think this is great. Abzo, probably a red mage here. Fabian says, I think this already exists kind of without the put on the bottom effect. Was from an Egyptian set. No, it doesn't. I know every card that ETBs, and there's not enough counters out there that counters triggered or activated abilities, especially on a creature. It don't exist. Should have been instant. If being instant would make it, I don't know. That's a good question. It's super fair at sorcery. Super fair. If it was instant, maybe it becomes, like, I don't know. It still may not even be broken. You get to deal 6 damage that spills over to the player. And if it doesn't spill over to the player, you draw a card. So it's like free. Good for limited. I think for limited, it's broken. This seems completely broken and limited. If you drafted 4 of these, you would just easily win your pod. But for constructed, it's very, very fair. Nimble, oh, you think of Nimble Obstructionist? It's quite a bit different because it's not an ETB. You actually have to cycle your Nimble Obstructionist, so you don't get to keep the card. That's the difference. And by the way, also, you're only countering the activated or triggered abilities. You don't get to counter the whole permanent, putting the permanent on the bottom of the battlefield. But like, even if you talk about activated and triggered abilities, it's you have to cycle Nimble Obstructionist. I love, by the way, I'm a huge fan of Nimble Obstructionist. That's why I would love something I get to put a card into play and then counter something. That I think is already pretty damn good because it'd be miles ahead of Nimble Obstructionist. Okay, Auspicious Truce. White 1 generic sorcery. Until the end of your next turn, you gain protection from target opponent, and they gain protection from you. Oh! This is definitely a commander card. Oh, thank you so much, Balder. I appreciate it. Everyone's still talking about the angel. How about this one? Auspicious Truce. White, 1 generic. Until end of turn, you basically say, hey, we ain't gonna do nothing with each other. But unfortunately, it costs like a whole mana. Oh, someone's thinking. Isochron Scepter this. You can't... And then you could... Oh, no, but isn't it instants only? Can you Scepter? Isochron Scepter. I can't remember if you can do sorceries. Exile an instant card. Nah, can't do it. It'd be sorcery. It's sorcery. Wither's willing to ship everything. Make a friend in EDH table, then make 2 board wipes. I like the concept. Politics decks would love it. It's a mini Teferi's protection. Pretty good. We fought wars for peace, yet never gave peace its own chance. Oh yeah, what would this do in a one-on-one game? In 1 versus 1, this is a stare down stall annoyance, but it's only 1 turn until the end of your next turn. Like eventually you just can't do anything with it. It just buys you a turn, effectively. This then board wipe. Yeah. Good luck with protecting from that. Okay, we'll let it pass. I think it's fine. It's good. Okay, Necrofauna. Very interesting art. You got that little kitty over here and some crows. We got the black 2 generic enchantment. Creatures with mana value 1 in your graveyard have Embalm 1. Pay a black, exile this card from your graveyard, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a black zombie in addition to its other types and has no mana cost. Embalm only as a sorcery. Creatures with mana value 1 in your graveyard. So basically turns all your like 1 mana cards into, you know, you can just embalm them onto the battlefield. Fine. We're gonna give it a pass. Moving on. What is this? I gotta zoom out for this one. What is this? Osgaric, Blood Sky Tyrant, black, white, red, 2 generic. Legendary creature, human noble berserker, a 4/2 creature. As long as you're the monarch, other creatures you control get +0/+2. Have lifelink and defender. Else. The hell is else? Else, other creatures you control get +2/+0 and have death touch and trample instead. Whenever a creature you control attacks the monarch, that creature gets +1/+0 and gains double strike until end of turn. And then we have this other side. Oh, it's an instant. Target opponent becomes the monarch. Repeat the following process a number of times equal to the half the amount of mana spent to cast it. Round up each time. Create a treasure token, a food token, and a 1/1 soldier, white soldier token. There's so many words on here. I just don't really like to interpret this. I have no idea what's going on in this card. If else. Yeah, if, comma, else. I don't know what the else is. So even for punctuation, we can give it a... Giving it a fail. Nope. I agree. I 100%. If this resonates me very well right now. Else, otherwise. Stupid words. It means if the other condition doesn't apply, then the second applies. Is that really how they print the magic cards? They could just put otherwise. It's programmer language. Well, I'm not a programmer. I once had to code something for a class. It was horrible. What an awful life programmers and coders have. Coding is beyond complicated. And has no... I don't even think it has any logic to it either. Else is smaller on the card compared to otherwise. Yeah, well... Maybe you should sacrifice some other words somewhere else. Anyway. Moving on. I gave my verdict. I stand by it. We got the over-eager goblin. More goblins. A red for a goblin, 1/1 goblin warrior. You may reveal this card from your opening hand. If you do, at the beginning of your first upkeep, put it into the battlefield tapped under your control. Oh, that's interesting. It's basically like Leyline of the Goblin. We have one extra 1/1 in play. And it's so pathetic. It's just a 1/1. So like, how dangerous can this be? If I wanted to waste 5 hours to read a single card, I would still be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I agree! I don't like cards that have too many words on it. And it does this and that and blah, blah, blah. But look at all the conversation around the shortcut on ink. Leyline of the Goblin. Some people think it's cute. Some people want to print it. Pretty cool. It'd be sweet if it had haste. Would that be broken? Maybe not. I mean, it's only a 1/1. I mean, it can have haste, but it comes into battlefield tapped. So you basically have to say it comes into play untapped and has haste. So I think that would be fair. I think that would be fair. They could push it a little bit more. Our scouts arrived to the battlefield to beat at midnight. He was already there. That's right. The early bird gets the worm, or the early worm gets eaten. Just make sure that you're not a worm and you're a bird. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is fun and explains it very well. Combative Tithe. A white and 1 generic instant. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 1. One of those cards. Cycling 3. Flashback. Tap and untap white creature you control. Oh, that's interesting. So that makes it hard. So you counter. If they pay the 1, then you tap another creature and then you get to counterspell. This would be insane in Pauper. Pauper insane. So there's a damn white deck there. There's a Boros deck there that would use this thing big time. I broke my reading glasses, so I can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore. Too many effects for 2 mana. Well, some of these effects are expensive. Cycling for 3 mana. Oh, I see. So, what you can actually do, so you can, if you have 3 mana available and you know your opponent's tapped out, you cycle this first. You draw a card and then you play the Tapperoonie. You flash it back. Ah, I see. Yeah, honestly, I think white should have counter spells. It makes sense. Like, they're so close to the color pie to blue. Like, why, like, things bleed over, right? Red has haste, gives green haste. Blue has counter spell, or blue had card draw. Green took all of it. Hold on, the green doesn't even share anything with blue. It's on the other side of the color pie. Unbelievable. The artist from Feet of Resistance. Yeah, I know this is a concept Harkir card, isn't it? I have a million of these cards. White should have Bade rate tax count or bad rate. Bade rate tax counters. I don't know what this is. Tap an untapped creature. You can tap tapped creatures. Sounds useless and redundant. Where's my black? Well, we got to make the black counter spells. Probably like counter target spell and you lose life. You lose life to do that. Hey Nikachu, what shenanigans is the AI up to today? Well, these are human beings. Thank you very much. We haven't all completely gone the way of the AI. Okay, whatever. I think this is fair. I think it's fair. We can move on. Vestigial Harmony for Jund colors. We got a sorcery. Search your library for a swamp card, a mountain card, and a forest card. Reveal those cards and put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. You may play an additional land this turn. Who wants this card? Someone loves this card. Someone wants to thin their deck out of their lands and ramp at the same time at the low price of doing nothing this turn. Fair because of the oh, super fair because of the casting cost. Yeah, actually, maybe you could still do something. I mean, you could play Swamp Thoughtseize or whatever. Is Thoughtseize a commander card? Do people play Thoughtseize in Commander? Seems terrible, but maybe it's fine. You hit one card from one player's hand. Should say basic land? Maybe. Wow, absolutely in love with this. Windgrace is my favorite commander. Do you know that there is a literal archetype in Yu-Gi-Oh! Just for you, Nikachu? It's called Danger, and it dangers. I didn't know. I have no idea what goes on in the Yu-Gi-Oh! The Yu-Gi-Oh! Metagame. One day, maybe you guys should suggest me Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. Magic player rates Yu-Gi-Oh cards. But the problem is I don't even know how the game works. Like, I've loosely watched some other Yu-Gi-Oh videos. They have things like spell speed, which I guess that's the difference between sorcery and instant and maybe super instant. Spell speed 1, spell speed 2. And I heard like card draw is above and beyond broken. You know, probably Yu-Gi-Oh looking at Magic and Pokemon, they can't believe the card draw that we have. Do Magic cards with Yu-Gi-Oh equivalent? I don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh. I know nothing. Yu-Gi-Oh has the big issue of not having resources, so every deck looks like Storm. Yeah, I'm sure it does. I watched some Yu-Gi-Oh games. They don't tap lands for mana. Okay, anyway, this is a pass. Move on. Minutia, Micro-mutifier. So for a blue-green and a Simic hybrid, we got a 2/2 gnome wizard and a very cute picture. Looks like it's from Hearthstone. Speaking of alternate card games, other creatures you control with mana value 3 or less have pay a hybrid of Simic, adapt X, where X is equal to that creature's mana value. What does that mean? What does adapt do? Minutia Micro-mutifier gets +1/+1 for each other modified creature you control. I have no idea what adapting does. I'm not familiar with the mechanic. It's the little things. Everyone's still on Yu-Gi-Oh. Exodia is broken in Yu-Gi-Oh, I heard. Was Exodia is like, I don't know, it's like Thassa's Oracle or something? If you get the certain board state right, you win the game. You get all the cards. Or is it like, what's it called? What is that creature called? There's that one creature. If you have 4 of them in play, you win the game. Adapt is put counters on if the creature doesn't have any. Okay. Oh, so we get to adapt, put counters on them equal to their mana value. So like 1, 2, or 3. It's cute. Does not look broken. Does not look like it danger. Alex, who says it's the last one. Just one more. Just one more. Just one more. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for the super chat. Archangel of the Gates. What is this going to be? Archangel of the Gates. Okay, so we have white, 4 generic for a 5/5 flyer. Treasure tokens and energy counters cannot be used to cast spells or activated abilities. That sounds really narrow. Sounds like you have some friends that play with energy decks. Is that it? I tell you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of heaven. Anyway, this is completely fair. I mean, there's nothing broken about this card at all. 100% fair. You basically were hating. I don't understand the energy part though. I don't understand the flavor. It's a Bible quote. Is it? I tell you, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of heaven. Make sure you're broke. Make sure you're broke by the time you die. My girl doesn't like the decks. Yeah, it looks like you're specifically hating on somebody's energy deck. Although the treasure token, everyone's playing with treasure tokens these days. It's of the style. Oh, we have another super chat, so we can't leave just yet. Okay, we got one more super chat. Thanks so much. 16 Izalb. Gwendolyn Knock. Oh, I gotta spell that correctly. Gwendolyn. Oh, Gwendolyn Knock. If it doesn't show up, I literally just posted it so it'll be at the top. No, that's not how Reddit works. Great picture. All right, so we got a black, blue, 2 generic, 2/3 human wizard. Oh God, it's got so many words on it. Hold on, is there a sound effect for this? Okay, so flying, death touch, ward 2. It's got transmute. Discard this card, search your library for a card. Oh yeah, you get with mana value equal to this one. Yeah, so you can transmute for 3, so you can transmute for 4 mana cards. If Gwendolyn Knock is in the graveyard, you may pay blue, blue, black, black, and sacrifice a non-token creature. If you do, choose one. It's in the graveyard. We can sacrifice a non-token creature. If you do, choose one. Put Gwendolyn Knock onto the battlefield. Add Gwendolyn Knock to your hand. If you choose to put Gwendolyn Knock onto the battlefield, it gains haste and lifelink until end of turn. What the hell is this? There's a lot of... Remember, if the font gets to like 3-point font, you've done something wrong. I do not obey the law. I create my own. Yu-Gi-Oh card. Instant no print. Too much words. Like, get rid of the transmute. And also, it looks like it's broken. If it's in the graveyard. Like, it never gets exiled. She's, like, just eternally gonna be coming back over and over again. Gwendolyn Knock is in the grave. You can play blue, blue, black, black, and sacrifice. Oh, but you do have to sacrifice something. And it can't be a token. Okay, so you do have to sack a creature. Maybe if I think about this long enough, this is more fair than it looks. But when if it goes onto the battlefield, it gains haste and lifelink until end of turn. Gwendolyn Knot. Use your phone to scan the QR code in the future. You think this is fair? I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. It can be your commander. Well, if it's your commander, then it's never going to the graveyard. Suggestive said Gwendolyn has perpetual. Print for artwork. It looks like 4K art. You know what makes the artwork good? It's like, it looks like it's in 4K. The artwork looks like it's in better definition than the rest of the card. This isn't who can make the most broken card contest. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's not broken. I just hate reading all this stuff. It just feels like a lot of stuff on this card. You can still transmute it. How's she flying? Well, she's probably already flying. She's already in the air. I don't play Commander. I play Modern, Legacy, and Pauper. So it's fair. Maybe broken in Vintage, but fair in Modern and Legacy. If the ward and flying was gone, it would be all right. Oh, is that all you want to get rid of? Is the ward and flying and leave the death touch? I don't know how to interpret this card. So anyway, I think it's a bit much. It danger. It danger. Okay, we seem to have a bro-man super chat. Elf Helper. Get rid of something here. And I could give it my approval. I think this is just a very busy card. It's got too much. How many cards do they print these days that have that small point of font? That's my criticism. So we got Elf Helper. The Helper of Elves from Broman. Uh-oh. Oops, I looked up Eld Helper. Elf Helper. Very crappy image. So you already lost points on image here. Could have chosen something slightly better. So we got 1/1 Elf with a kicker of 1 billion, 12 mana. That's the craziest, most lopsided card I've ever seen. You could play it for 1, or you could play it for 13. So target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. You can tap it for that. But if it was kicked, create 12 1/1 green Elf Warrior creature tokens. Holy moly. I guess you gotta do something with all that mana, right? That's such a weird ability, though. Tap, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Yeah, it's swarming. It's swarm. Anyway, I think it's fair. If you're gonna pay 13 mana, you're getting your 13 mana's worth out of this thing. Honestly, that's... Oh, you don't think it's enough? It should be more? How easy is it to get to 13 mana? I don't think it's that easy. And you can still wipe. It's not like these creatures do anything. It's just 12 1/1 green Elf Warrior creature tokens. You Commander players, you got tons of life to spare. Plenty. It's fair, but you probably won't get the second ability off. This is so weird, though. You tap the target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Actually, what's interesting is that this is not your creatures. This is anybody's creatures, so it can be anybody. You could mess up everyone's combat. It's an elf, guys. It's an elf. You can mess up people's combats. People attack, people block. You get to say what dies or what lives. This is the last thing elf needs. 12 mana is nothing for elves. I like it. We're printing this. I think it's cute. I think it's funny. I think it's a very comical card. All right, this is it. All right, that's it for Coffee and MTG. Thanks so much, everyone, for your support. Everyone being here this morning. By the way, this is the last time we're doing this at 8 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Starting tomorrow, and I'll leave a notice for everyone. We do this 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks to everyone supporting the channel, both memberships and the super chats. I appreciate everyone's super chat. Whether I love your card, I love all your cards, but some of them are broken. That's all. You know, but I love everybody's cards because everyone supports the channel that way with the super chat. You get to show off your card to everybody, and we all get to love them. But most importantly, above even that, it's just all you guys. Anybody that shows up in the morning for these shows is just fantastic. You just got here. Well, probably in the future you'll be here on time because we're going to be switching the time. We're switching the time zone here. Or not the time zone. We're just switching the time. Switch the time up. Probably. I'm curious to see how many more people will show up, or if more people will show up, or maybe I'm just gonna catch you at your lunch break. Yeah. Okay. So maybe, as usual, you know, you guys are the real. I was gonna say OGs, but that's not the word I'm looking for. You're the real MVPs of Coffee and MTG. That's what it is. That you're the real MPGs or MPVs. So as usual, Coffee Crew, keep brewing up those coffees, and we will keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you the next cup.